Good morning, Trigonometry students, and welcome to another lesson brought by Mr. Pacho.
Thank you for that introduction. Okay. And the round of applause that followed it. Okay, verifying trigonomic identities. So if you do not have that unicircle, I actually found them for a couple people. Now, the X, Y's, and R's are the big issue for this one right here. X, Y's, and R's are the big issue. I don't have them right now. Wait till we're done here, and I'll grab those. Okay, X, Y's, and R's. Okay, now when I'm dealing with an identity, my R, my radius is always what? 1. 1. Thank you. That one's going to help me out with all this. We're going to verify some identities. Okay, we're going to rewrite it so that they are going to be equal, and we're checking to see if they're equal. Or, this is one of the questions that I give you the answer starting out, but you have to show the work to get to that answer. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right. Whole bunch of other crap. Okay. More stuff. Ooh, hey. Okay, this is important. Okay, this is important right here. So I could replace, okay, multiplying both numerator and denominator. So 1 minus sine squared is equal to cosine squared.
Is that what we were doing earlier?
Yeah, that's what we did earlier. So it's like saying sine squared x plus cosine squared x equals 1. So if I want to get cosine squared by itself, what would I do?
Put it on the other side.
Yeah, put it on the other side by doing what?
Subtract it.
Yeah, I'm going to subtract sine, right? Because I want cosine by itself. So for this one right here, I want cosine by itself. So I'm going to subtract sine squared. So it's going to be cosine squared x is equal to 1 minus sine squared x.
Shouldn't we also find the square root?
No, you don't need that one right now. We'll do that later when we start talking about other types of angles. Single angles, double angles, but we're just doing the identities. So I could replace, you ready? I could replace when I'm doing my math, this is actually one of the problems on your homework from last night. Okay, I could replace whenever I have 1 minus sine squared with cosine squared. And the same goes with the other one. Dang it. Okay, I'll just use this board right here. So it's going to be sine squared x plus cosine squared x is equal to 1. What if I want to get sine by itself? What would I do? Subtract cosine squared. So sine squared x equals 1 minus cosine squared x, right? So whenever I see that I have 1 minus cosine squared, I can replace that with sine squared. And there's another one that you need to know. Whenever you see sine squared plus cosine squared, I can replace all that right there with just 1. I'm going to replace sine squared plus cosine squared with 1. That is some of your homework problems that you have.
Now you want to teach us.
Yeah. Okay, so we good? Okay. Okay, let's translate this first from trigonometry to algebra. So if we're going from trigonometry to algebra, what is cotangent theta plus 1?
X over Y.
Plus 1, right? And that is supposed to be equal to, what is cosecant? 1 over y, very good. Parentheses. Cosine is? X over 1, very good, plus, what sign? Y over 1.
And we can replace that with 1, right?
Huh?
For quotient, you put x over 1 instead of x over y.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. You know what? Good job. Someone's paying attention. There you go. Candy right there. Now, I'm telling you right now, when it says verify, that means these are correct. It is right. I just need to look at the one and say, hey, which one is least complicated? And try to make the more complicated one into the least complicated. So it's basically like reducing a fraction. So the more complicated would be like saying 3 over 10. The least complicated of saying the exact same thing would reduce that, not 3 over 10, 5 over 10, I'm sorry. 5 over 10, right? 5 over 10 would be least complicated as 1 over 2. 5 over 10 is more complicated, right? And that's basically what we're going to try and do here. So which one is more complicated?
The right side.
The right side, isn't it? The right side of this is more complicated. So let's do some algebra here. Let's distribute here. So I'm going to distribute here. I'm going to distribute, right? So I'm going to distribute. So when I distribute that, it's going to be 1 times x is
X over Y, which is
x. 1 times y is, right? Now I distribute over here. Plus, I have 1 times y is, and y times 1 is.
Y.
What is y over y?
1.
1. It reduces to 1, right? So I'm now going to have x over y plus 1, right? Now, is this the same as this? They are the same. Since they are now the same, I have verified that identity. So if you're not paying attention, this is going to be hard. But if you are, then it's not so bad. Yeah.
Is it ever going to be like where you have to do both sides? And
Yeah,
do it?
we're going to get into it later on where you're going to have both sides. So you're going to have really complicated on both sides. So you're going to say, okay, I'm going to work this one a little bit to see. Then I'm going to work this one to make it match. Okay, so yes, but as of right now, we're just starting with, look at the one side, see if we can make it look like the other. All right, is everyone okay with this problem?
Yeah.
Good. Here's example 2. All right, so we're going to translate our trigonometry into algebra now. So you guys help me translate this to algebra. What's this right here? What's this tangent squared going to be? Y squared over x squared. Very good. So that's my tangent squared. Parentheses. 1 plus cotangent. What's that going to be? Very good. X squared over y squared, right? And that's supposed to be equal to 1 over 1 minus sine squared, which is y squared over 1. Now, see that y squared over 1? That could just reduce down to just y squared. Okay, I don't need the 1 on that one because that one, I don't have any other fraction there for that. So that one's just going to be y squared. All right, so more complicated is the left side, isn't it? Okay, let's go ahead. And I got a parenthesis, so that means I'm going to do what? Yeah, let's distribute this. So this is going to become y squared over x squared plus, now as I distribute here, what's going to happen to my x squareds? And the y squareds? So I'm left with 1 here, right? Very good. So it's not the same yet. It's not the same yet, right? So, okay, so I'm going to have to do a little bit more. What would the common denominator of this be?
Y squared.
No. Common denominator right here on this one.
Oh.
It's not 1, it's
X.
x squared, right? The reason why it's x squared isn't 1 just going to be x squared over x squared?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to get that for.
So
Okay?
it could easily be Y squared over Y squared.
Yes, if I needed it to be that. Because I want it to be the same, right?
Yeah.
So I want it to be the same. Now it's going to become y squared plus, when I multiply this, I get x squared, right? And their common denominator is going to be x squared, right? It's really close now. It's really, really close. What is the one thing I have to look at that I get from this? What is the one thing you have to remember?
Probably one of those identity things and triggers.
So what is the one thing? It's in your notes. That one thing is in your notes.
And this set or the other one?
The other one.
Yeah.
That one thing from yesterday, what is the one?
Sine plus cosine equals
Number
1.
1.
Yes, 1. Sine squared plus cosine squared is equal to 1, right?
Yes.
Sine squared plus cosine squared is equal to 1. So x squared plus y squared is equal to?
1.
Y squared plus x squared is equal to?
1.
Every time I see x squared plus y squared, I know that's got to be?
1.
So on top, it's going to be 1, right?
1 over x squared.
Over. Now, for this next one, I'm going to go back.
That's Pythagorean. And
Nope.
identity.
Almost. Okay, so now, this is what I did right here, right? Let's translate this to algebra. What would this right here translate to algebra be?
1 minus sine
Nope, try again.
cosine. Oh.
X squared
Squared over r squared.
over 1 is equal to 1 minus over 1, right? So now they're just over 1, so it's actually saying that x squared is equal to 1 minus y squared, isn't it?
Y. Oh yeah, cosine.
It's the same thing right here. So cosine's x squared, right? Sine is y squared, right? So it's going to turn, the x squared is going to turn into 1 minus y squared, right? So I could replace x squared with 1 minus y squared.
No.
No! There we go. Ah.
Oh, now I got it. Now, Pacho.
Okay, so this replaced into 1 minus y squared. So now, do they match?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is the same as saying 1 over, because y squared divided by 1 is just y squared, right? Or sine squared. This is the same as this. And now I have verified that identity. Are we okay?
Are we done?
Yeah, we're done for today.
That was it?
We have
Yes.
5 examples. I don't think, we don't do 6 here. We do 5, which is both sides. But I want you guys practicing this before I actually get to that part. So example 3 is going to be tomorrow. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. If we get up to 100 views by the end of the month, I will drop a loot crate.